Um, Choices abound. Why is that even a spiritual workout concept in the first place? And the reason that it is a concept that we adhere to and practice is because spiritual workout is all about living consciously. And we have, however, why ever, gotten into a rhythm and routine and a history and a habit of making all kinds of choices all the time, but not very consciously. And so here in spiritual workout world, everything is about living consciously, and choices abound then really comes into play in some different ways. And just off the top of my head, let's just see what comes out here. So one of the things that we are choosing is what to believe. So some of our other concepts, like beliefs matter, right? So we say beliefs matter, but that's really belief, right? Some people might not believe that it matters at all what they believe, right? The law of attraction is always on. I call that a fact. Some people call it a belief. Some people say that's a load of crap. I don't believe it, right? So we are always choosing even what to believe. That's about being conscious, right? So that is one of the things. The another thing that I find in the guts of our practice that's really of use and value in terms of our own personal growth and development, which ostensibly is why you're here, is that when we look at our lives, and you've heard me say this before, through the lens of choice, we start to see and hopefully appreciate things about us, ourselves, who we are, and really what we value. So I tell the story oftentimes early in my days as a psychotherapist working at a clinic, and they put interns just in the most terrible, I shouldn't say terrible, but the most difficult, challenging psychotherapeutic situations, right? In clinics where interns work for free and people get services. Anyway, this guy came in, he'd been referred by the court system and came in with a whole bunch of, I don't want to be here. I don't, blah, 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 blah. And I was on my choices thing even back then. I said, well, you don't really have to be here. He said, yes, I do. I said, no, you don't. Yes, I do. No, I don't. Okay, so it took a little bit of time. But fundamentally, ultimately, we were able to get to a place where he's like, oh, I get it. You're right. I didn't have to come here. So why am I coming here is what we started to talk about. Well, I'm coming here because I want to get signed off. I want to get through this court system. Well, why is that important to you? Well, because I want to go live my life. And mostly I have a 10-year-old boy and I want to be a good dad to him. Right? So first he comes in, I have no choice but to do this, has a conversation, poor guy, with me about, that's a load of crap. Of course you have chosen to be here. There's no gun. And even if there were, you're still, right? So then he got to get in touch with that part of himself that was wanting to be a good dad. And that was underneath it all, but the willingness to look at his decision to walk into what was my intern office at the time through the lens of choice allowed him to see something about himself that was really incredibly important and that he would have breezed by. And so that's always the opportunity for us in spiritual workout world or anywhere to look at the choices that we make, especially when it's a hard choice, especially when, as I like to say, it's between poop and crap. Now, sometimes it's between poop and crap and it just doesn't matter. I'll have the ranch or the blue cheese and who cares? But sometimes it's, wow, these are two really awful choices here and I have to choose one of them. That's when that looking through the lens of choice and really getting into the nitty gritty and saying, well, They both suck, but I'm going to choose this one because the because is really interesting, juicy material, if you ask me. So that's another component of what happens when we employ choices abound. Another thing that we talk about all the time here is setting shiny, clear intentions. Law of attraction is always on. What do you want to be? What do you want to do? What do you want to have? So having the shiny, clear intention at the ready makes the minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day choices and decisions that we are always making a whole lot easier to make. Oh, well, since I know what I want, this thing looks like maybe it'll get me there. This thing looks like I'm not so sure, so I'm going to choose the first one, right? Things like that. So it just becomes easier and easier to make the choices and the decisions that we make when we have a shiny, clear intention against which to measure the choice. And the last thing that I want to say about choices abound just completely ran out of my mind. Choices abound, making decisions. Oh, right, thank you. So listening to inspiration, our gut, our intuition, is a concept that works often hand in hand with choices abound, right? So it's the poop or the crap, the poop or the crap. We're going to do ourselves a great service when we can feel our way into it. Of course, that's true for life all the time. And yet, when we are faced with making a decision, making a choice, and we learn to really feel, listening to inspiration-wise, our way into that choice, it's going to be a whole lot easier and a whole lot more fun. And the last thing I'll leave you with as conscious people is a little reminder, and I know you already know this, that you basically can't say, I had no choice or I have no choice ever again. Conscious people know that we always, 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 always have a choice. So, nice deep breath with me if you would. And now I'm going to choose to continue with our drop-in.